There are two important things in life. One is starting, and the other one is finishing. And how we finish is much more important than how we start. You can start from anywhere, but how we finish is the most important. But people start life in all kinds of places. People are born in all kinds of places. One time when I was in Haiti for a seminar, I was there and for a week. And one of my friends there, his wife was expecting a baby, and I had heard that the afternoon that she was in labor, and so we're expecting the baby's going to be born that day. But in the evening, he said, "Oh, the baby's not born yet." And the next morning, very early, maybe 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, just as it was starting to get light, um, some people came banging on the door of the house where I was staying and saying, Pastor Merle, the um, Fraysoni, his wife, is not able to have the baby and she needs to go to the clinic and can you take her in the truck to the clinic? And I was like, yeah, sure. So they said, okay, we'll bring her. So they got some men and they got a big blanket and they laid her in the blanket and they carried her in the blanket. They had four men, one on each corner, and they carried her uh, probably a half a mile uh, front to the where the truck was, and and there she was. I put her in the back of a Dodge pickup truck, and her husband was there, and so they were ready to go to the clinic, and she just looked really limp. And Caleb Salfer was there, and he I think works as an EMT, and he was saying, Merle, she doesn't look good at all. And I was saying, well, I think she's just exhausted. I think she's just totally exhausted from being in labor so long. And her husband was crying and saying, "Oh, my wife is gonna die. I'm gonna be a widower. I'm gonna take care of my children." And people were saying, "Be quiet. Like you're not helping. That's not helping." And so we left and we headed for the clinic. So I was driving. We had about a 15-minute drive to the clinic, and so when I got to the clinic, I was gonna back in. I pulled front. I was gonna back in so we could back right up to the side door of the clinic where the patients would go in, and so that we could get her in. And as I started to back in, uh, people in the back of the truck were saying, "Don't go in, don't go in." And so I pulled out. They said, "Just park beside the road." So I pulled out. I thought, why do they want to park out here? And I think that's strange. Like I came all the way over here. Why would they want to carry her from the road into the clinic? And then all of a sudden it dawned on me, oh, I bet she's having the baby in the back of the truck. So I got out. Sure enough, she was having the baby in the back of the truck. So they didn't want to go in because they said if we go in and we take her in, then they're going to charge us something for what they do. But she has the baby in the back of the truck, and everything will be fine. So they delivered the baby in the back of the truck, and then they said, okay, now we can go home. We don't need to take her to the clinic. So we turned around and went back home, and so then we got back to the house. Then I said to the men, okay, well, you can carry her back to her house now. And they said, we're not carrying her back to her house. She's fine now. There's nothing wrong with her. She can walk. And so she took the baby and she walked back to her house. And I went back to see her then later in the day. And she was fine and the baby was fine. And they named the baby Jay-Z La, which means Jesus here. And they were so happy that everything worked out okay. The baby was delivered fine. So that person had a unique start in life, but much more important is how they're going to finish and what they'll do with the rest of their life. We can start life anywhere, but how we finish is the most important.